Hey everyone, and welcome to What If Texas Real Estate Worked Like Amazon. My name is Eric Cruz. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Propy, and it is great to have you here. We are just going to give it just a couple of minutes just so the latecomers can come in. So please sit back and relax, and I'll be right with you in just a couple of minutes. Thanks a lot.
Rocking out, rocking out, we gonna rock you in the night and the day. We're gonna rock your soul. We're positively moving on, oh, through job time. No matter what you do or say, we're gonna rock you down. See Coco, Coco, it's Coco de rock. And Coco, Coco, it's Coco de Rasta. And Coco, Coco, now it's Coco de rock. And Coco, Coco, it's Coco de Rasta.
All right. Well, hi everyone. Good to have you all here. My name is Eric Cruz. I am the Chief Revenue Officer at Propy, and man, do we have some great things to go over today. Um, but before we even get there, let's talk about you for a moment. So, in the chat, please throw me up an emoji. How you all feeling today? We feeling good? We feeling down? Ready for vacation? What is it? Are we on vacation? Who knows? But let me know how y'all are feeling. Good. All right. Cheyenne Sanders. That's a great name. Beautiful name, by the way. Cheyenne. Stephanie, Tim, everyone's feeling good. All right. Well, San Antonio. Okay. I love the Riverwalk in San Antonio. I've got a couple of good friends that live in that area, and I am a fan of it. Actually, I was just in Houston just a couple of weeks ago. Great eating down there too. Um, and I said I was down in Houston because I don't live in Texas, guys. I live in a city called St. Petersburg, Florida. If y'all have ever been to Tampa Bay, it is a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful spot over here. But enough about me. Let's get started today and why you guys are here. There has just been a lot of talk recently about AI and about crypto, and things are moving fast, it feels like. But today's session, we're kind of going to go over a lot of things. Okay. Your clients these days are in an Amazon type world, right? They expect things delivered to them fast. If you look at how the consumer has changed in just the last 5 years, it's changed drastically, right? I mean, we have individuals that are buying cars from Kavana and they're getting vehicles delivered to their house. Groceries. Anyone use Walmart Plus? We're having groceries delivered to our properties now. And then Amazon, everything is next day, right? Some things, at least in where I live, you can get same day delivery. And I fall guilty that if I can't get something delivered the next day, I look for another supplier, which means now 2 days is now too long. But yet, when we are talking about real estate, for some reason, we have made it acceptable to open up escrow and then let our clients wait for escrow to be opened. And what happens if that's a Friday? What happens if that's a Saturday? They wait longer. So, what we have created is a way to be able to relieve all of that. And what if you, as a real estate agent, or what if you, as a buyer or seller or investor, whoever you are in the real estate transaction, could get earnest money deposit in under 5 minutes, regardless of any time restraints, regardless if it were 5 o'clock at night on a Friday, or if it's 3 p.m. on a Sunday. Being able to actually get in there and be able to get things done fast is key. So, or I think it is too. So why is that key? It's because it makes you guys actually relevant, right? It makes you stand out to other from other agents. It gives you a higher advantage to your competition. Okay? So, for the next hour, I'll be talking about this. How does it work? What are things that we can do about this? How are things actually transacting? And can we actually provide the ability? And can you provide that ability to your clients? So sit back, relax, and let's get things done. So the current systems today are archaic. But I kind of want to kick things off just a little bit and ask you guys is if real estate could actually act like Amazon. And there's actually even talk of Amazon being a facility of selling homes. Imagine that. But the entire industry would shift faster, easier, on demand. Clients live in that style of world, the one-click order, 2-hour deliveries. So, what happens though if you're under contract on a Friday night and you can't open until Monday? Offers get scattered across emails. And what if you're not the only one that's put in an offer, a contract, right? You're chasing signatures, managing deadlines. It's worse. And what happens if you're actually doing all that on a spreadsheet? It's even worse, right? So with these growing pains, we have to have some sort of way to balance everything out. And clients today, yes, they're expecting things quickly. Think about how, I mean, when's the last time you even went to the bathroom without your phone, right? Because we always have to have simulation. We always need things now. We can't just sit there. We can't just stand there. We can't just, you know, I swear, when I talk about reading books and I hear individuals like, oh, I don't read, I'm like floored by it because people can't even stop and read books anymore. They're like their patience not even there. It's wild. So now imagine buying and selling a home in the same way though. It's Sunday at 4 p.m. Offer gets accepted. You upload a contract. The buyer receives the earnest money instructions instantly. And then in 4 minutes, title company or escrow company receives earnest money. And everyone involved in the transaction has access and everyone is notified and every single person is has a manual has a mutual email that everyone's understanding and it can happen like this. And I'll tell you something, it's not something of the future, it's not someday, it's already happening. Agents across our country are using this style of workflows. It's today. And today I'm going to walk you through some of this step by step from listing to an offer to escrow to close. So here's the modern estate experience is actually happening today, right now. When you list a property, it's synced with your MLS, right? You have it on the MLS, you entered it manually, okay? You generate and share some sort of content about that house, right? Obviously, you have a description of it. But what if you had another MLS? Maybe an MLS that worked not only like your local MLS, but a global MLS. Think about like a Zillow, but without all the restrictions and way more accurate. And instead of having to manually input, just like how Zillow actually extracts information because it has an MLS integration, imagine that. But also imagine being able to actually have crypto buyers look at your property. And that's a whole nother thing. What, with everything that's been happening with this current administration that's in place, they're so crypto friendly. These crypto individuals that are actually investing in crypto are going to want to use crypto. And so, how are you having facilitating those types of transactions too? And how are you actually advertising those listings of yours to that whole pool of buyers that you didn't necessarily have access to in the beginning? So, you have a listing. You could put down accepting crypto even if you wanted to. And then you have an offer link and a whole offer management that an agent can actually take that offer link, put it in the MLS and say, hey, make all offers here. When a buyer's agent comes in, they can click on that link and get sent to a page where they can then make the offer. Now, if that offer is accepted, and now we have an executed contract, instead of, and I know how most of you open escrow, you put together an email template, you make sure that your contract is in there, your addendums are in there if there's any, and then you double check, triple check the email addresses, make sure that all the information is accurate. 20 minutes has gone by, you're still sweating to make sure everything is great, and then you send it off. And then the waiting game begins. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, it could be next day, who knows? But see, there's agents that are instead of sending off emails, are actually grabbing and instead of attaching that PDF to an email, they're click dragging and dropping that into platforms where a platform will actually read over that executed contract. AI will then extract the information from that contract, timeline the entire transaction instantly. So it knows how much earnest money is due and when. It knows how much earnest money, or excuse me, when appraisals are. It knows when the inspection contingency is, when the expected close dates, and all of these things, and it's all there instantly. At the same time, earnest money is not by wiring, it is by ACH. So, what this means is that the buyer doesn't have to sit on the phone for 40 minutes with their bank going over routing numbers and going over wiring numbers and double checking and triple checking. It's a tedious process. But from the phone, an ACH payment is sent. Has anyone in here used Zelle or a Venmo style of application? Now, it's not those applications, but it's something similar. How easy is it? There's no restrictions, there's no time restrictions. You choose who you want to send that money funds to and you send it. Well, why couldn't that be the occurrence for real estate? Well, guess what? It is. And so once that buyer has those instructions, can send earnest money directly to the escrow company, no matter what day and what time. Our company has actually opened up escrow at 3 in the morning. We actually broke a record. And don't ask me why that agent was up at 3 a.m. because I actually asked that too. But we actually broke our record back in June. And we had an agent in Arizona that went from executed contract. Think about this. An executed contract to receiving earnest money deposit was in 4 minutes. And that was at 9 o'clock at night on a Friday. So things are occurring much faster. Not only that, but now there's AI that's working in the background. So it's not just about extracting information, right? Now it's all about automating processes. Now, I know you guys are all real estate agents or brokers or investors, but did you know that about 80% of what an escrow officer does is following up and trying to grab information? We feel that we can automate those, and we've automated about 40% of that, which makes our process a lot faster and less error prone. Okay? So, earnest money is received. Once earnest money is received, a AI knows that and it starts doing automation in place. Title reports start getting ordered and things start kind of dispersing out. It's a beautiful thing. And guess what? It's 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's a dream and it's happening now. It's not just when you're sleeping, it is most of the time when you are awake. Okay? So, a dashboard with no delays, no handoffs, no out office hours, no back and forth, right? None of this, oh, I'll talk to you on Monday. I'll check back in after the weekend. None of it. It's there. So, how we do this is very easily. Is that when I was talking about an offer management, this is kind of what the beginning of this looks like. And you see how it says close with Propy? That right there is the actual place where you can actually drop in contracts and allow these things to occur. I actually don't want to show you that. I'm going to go past that and do this. But we have individuals like this, and a beautiful individual. Look at 4 minute Tasha in Arizona. Unreal. Okay. Now, think about this. 4 minutes sounds fast, but crypto's even faster. Are there any in the chat? Is there anyone here that has actually is a crypto person? Anyone in chat, say aye. If you've ever bought crypto, if you're holding on to crypto. Okay. Crypto's instant, guys. We're talking about 4 minutes for a traditional real estate transaction. Crypto's even faster. We have done transactions in crypto where we're so used to this whole 30-day process of a closing. We shrunk that down to 24 hours. And we did it and the funds exchanged were instant. So now we're talking about a digital age that even goes far past even AI. Crypto enabled real estate is really the future of real estate, we feel. AI will just facilitate the processes in order to automate a lot of this stuff. Or smart contracts if you don't know anything about blockchain. We actually did one, didn't realize. We actually did a transaction in Hawaii where we put a house up for sale and we put that, it was an auction, a condo on Oahu, and bidders came in, they bid on the house. And the second that that auction was over, smart contracts engaged, funds that were held in the smart contracts were released to the seller instantly. Any funds that were in there from bidders got returned straight back to the bidders, to the losing bids. And then the ownership of the property switched hands. This all happened instantly in a matter of seconds. And guess what? There was no human involvement. It was just automation in place. A beautiful, beautiful thing. So enabling crypto as an acceptable currency is key in today's market. Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, my seller would never accept crypto. There's no way. They're ranchers or they're older. There's no way. They don't trust crypto. Here's the beautiful thing. They don't have to. Because crypto can come in, be exchanged, and then USD can go out. So if that's the case, and the seller doesn't even realize that the buyer came in with crypto, then why wouldn't you want to open up that listing to a whole nother pool of buyers, especially at zero cost? In today's market, we're struggling a little bit selling these houses. Houses are staying on the market just a little bit longer than they used to. When I mean a little bit longer, I mean on average of like 40 to 50 days longer. In some areas, it's even higher. And so being able to open up that spectrum of, or that pool, and being able to get more eyes on it, I think is key in today. Okay. Now, what's also key is marketing. How are you marketing it? Who's doing your marketing? How many hours are you putting in every single listing that you have? It's exhausting. The good news is that we have actually provided our agents with a full department at their fingertips where we create reels, where we create postcards, where we create just Instagram posts or TikTok or whatever it is, and that's it. You can put aside all those hours in Canva and let someone, the actual professionals, do it. Why? It's because we want you out there. We want you talking to agents. We want, or not to agents, to clients. We want you networking. We want you to be busy. If you are spending, on average, on marketing, 5 hours per listing is what they say when an agent does has a new listing just on marketing. What will you do with that 5 hours if you didn't have to do it? Okay. Beautiful stuff. All right. So a little bit about us is we have transacted over $4 billion. I don't has anyone in here heard of Propy before? Put in the chat if you heard of us before. Okay. Peyton. Okay. Oh, Alex. Good to see you. Katie, okay, great. Is there anyone out there that has never heard of our company before? Is today the first time you've ever heard of me, of Propy, ever heard my voice? Don't be shy. It's okay. First timer, Stephanie, Tim. Okay. Well, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background. It won't be boring, I promise. But we were the first company that has ever transacted crypto. We were the first company that had ever converted a real world asset into a digitized asset. We were the first company to have ever recorded a deed on blockchain. So we are the company that actually pioneered and invented the processes as well as the technology in order to facilitate a crypto transaction. In other words, a 24-hour real estate transaction. We did our first one 7 years ago. So, or actually, I shouldn't say that. 2017 is really when it was. And so we've been in the game for a while. But now, with the revolution of AI, we have now been able to facilitate not only these style of transactions, but transactions that work a lot faster than what you guys are normally and a heck of a lot secure. All right. Propy AI, the automation behind it, is going to be world changing because every single title agency would want to use this, will want to be able to have AI driving their escrow experience. Not because they want to get rid of their employees, is because we're creating super escrow officers where they will be able to handle 80% more workload. And this for title companies is going to actually increase margins, isn't it? And then that means it's actually going to, because it's going to be facilitate quicker and more efficient, and it's going to facilitate even more securely than a traditional real estate transaction now. Because can you all agree that email is probably the worst way of communicating because of fraudsters out there? It's the number one reason why there is wire fraud in this world. If we got rid of that, if we got rid of wiring, and if we got rid of the use of emails when going under contracts or emails going back and forth, guys, we're going to have a very secure real estate transaction. Now, if we actually then provide and record deeds not only on the county level, but then on blockchain, which is immutable, then now we've actually secured deed fraud too. And so we are curing wire fraud and deed fraud all on one platform, one location. Now imagine the days that we actually, us, Propy, facilitate and are able to actually talk to and get counties involved and set up systems on the county level. So now they're recording on blockchain and now everything is transparent and everything can be viewed and everything is secure because it's immutable and it can't be changed instead of just sitting there on the county line. Okay. What happens if that occurs? Or should I say, what happens when it occurs? Because we're already in talks about it. What happens then is that these expensive title policies that you and your clients have been paying for every time that you sell or buy a house goes away. There would be no reason for a title company to have to search 50 years in advance, regardless if the house was just sold 2 years ago. And then grab that information and say, okay, we are going to issue you an insurance policy so that you feel confident that you are the true seller of this house and that you are the true buyer of this house and that you now own this property. Those thousands of dollars per transactions go away because now a blockchain certificate can be issued, which has a QR code on it, and one scan can actually show you where that transaction is, and we can see who the owner is, and there'll be no questions asked. Imagine that. That would free up trillions of dollars, billions every year, and even thousands for the consumer, which means what? Which means that it makes real estate a little bit more liquid, doesn't it? It adds liquidity in this market. Anyone here worked with a first-time home buyer? Those deals are tight, aren't they? By the pennies at some points. But imagine if they didn't have to pay for those insurance policies. Frees things up. And think about this. And I might be ahead of myself. Let's see if I jump ahead of myself. I don't know. I might jump ahead of myself. I'm going off script, Elias. Back in 2021, now I know it's an old statistic, but I'm bringing this up for a reason, and I'll tell you why it's relative. But back in 2021, Redfin did a survey, and there were over 11.5% of all first-time home buyers in the US use some form of cryptocurrency for their down payment. Now, we all agree that first-time home buyers, those transactions, those deals are pretty tight. A lot of them don't go through, don't they? So what happens for those individuals, those first-time home buyers that had to go into their digital wallet, sell off crypto, turn it into US dollar, send it to their account, and then put it for earnest money deposit? And then that deal doesn't go through, but guess what they still had to pay? Gains tax, right? The government won't let you just take money and run with it. So they have to pay capital gains tax. So now they have a 30% tax bill on the funds that they just sold, and they don't have a house. Brutal. So with our processes that we have, and we are the only escrow company in the US that actually has a collaboration with one of the largest crypto exchange wallets in the world. They're called Coinbase. We take in crypto from the buyer. And if that deal doesn't go through, and if the contract permits it, we send that crypto right back to the buyer, and so they don't have to pay any capital gains tax on it. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Now, saying that to a buyer, wow, kind of sounds like we care, don't we? And we do. We don't want these guys to be hurt. All right, so we were the first ones to transact with crypto. We were the first to ever digitize things. We are the ones that figured out this process, and now we have the world's first AI escrow experience that's allowing agents like you to transact 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's no longer an option now. Now that you know the possibilities, it's no longer an action. We have agents of ours right now that are getting more listings today than they ever had just because we are partnered with them. Because what they're doing is they're going into listing appointments. And let me tell you all, if you think you're going to a listing appointment and you think you're the only agent that are being interviewed, you're wrong. Things are getting competitive out there. Sellers know that houses are staying on the market. They want to sell. So an agent comes in for an interview. What do they say? Look at our beautiful marketing. We're going to do drone footage. We have an in network of agents, of 35,000 agents. We are local experts. We are going to get this house sold. And then number two walks in the next day. Look at our beautiful marketing. We're going to do drone footage. We have an in network of agents of 40,000 agents. We are the local experts. We are going to get this house sold. But then one of our agents come in. Yes, we have beautiful marketing. Yes, we'll do drone footage. Yes, we have an in-network of agents. But what's important is that we assure that we have a deal in place. And that means assuring that the buyer has skin in the game, and we have the ability of 24 hours, 7 days a week, and no matter where that buyer is, if they are even international, we can get earnest money in to assure that we've got a deal in place. If they're not serious, we'll know right away. Now that is a game changer. That sets you apart from competition. That might just be the winner for that deal, wouldn't it? So, being able to transact 24 hours a day, 7 days a week because of AI powered automation and workflows. Being able to be crypto friendly, having a whole nother pool. And that's another thing too. You're in the business of selling houses. What does the seller care of what kind of funds that they use? What kind of currency they use? Right? Has anyone ever said, I'm only a buyer with United States dollar can buy this house. I'm not going to take yen. I'm not going to take pesos, any of that. That doesn't happen often, but the point is they want the house sold. So who cares what they come in with crypto? And by the way, guys, if you don't know much about crypto, that's okay. You don't have to. We do all the security measures up front. We do all proof of funds up front. See, on a normal traditional real estate transaction, you've already spoken to, or at least your client, if you're on the buyer side, they've got a pre-approval letter, excuse me. So you know how much they are approved for, right? No one in this room would ever go out and show property to a prospect, a buyer, if they had no clue how much they can afford. So why would you do that with a crypto person? You wouldn't. So we have systems in place that, one, we have to make sure that they are who they say they are. So we go through with something called a KYC, which is know your customer. We put them through this. We also put them through a system that's AML, stands for anti-money laundering. We want to make sure these individuals aren't going to show up on some America's Most Wanted list. Okay? Some global terrorist list. So we make sure we have those security measures in place. And then we take care, and just like how a bank would pre-approve someone, we do the same thing. We ask for proof of funds, and we have this whole system that goes through proof of funds to assure that they have the crypto that they say they have. That's all done internally. You don't have to do any of that. All you guys say is, hey, I got this crypto buyer. What do I do? And we say, what's their number? We'll take care of it from here. And we'll keep you updated the process. Okay? It's great. Hands off. Okay? We want you out there. We want you out there because the less admin work that you guys are doing are the more closings that you are going to have. Can we all agree with that? So, we need more transparency in real estate. Agents still to this day are calling, dialing up their escrow officer. Hey, what's the status on this? Wouldn't it be great just to log in and not have any questions? I mean, if you guys want to call. If you like that kind of thing. But being able to have the ability to not necessarily call and not have to, maybe your clients don't want to call. Maybe it's Saturday and you have a question. What do you do then? Right? So the ability to be able to have more transparency, to have being able to see the documents, to be able to get the documents when you need it, it's amazing, right? Um, Another thing about AI too is one other thing that we use AI for, and is more like a deep research. What we have realized is that people who sell for a reason, right? No one wakes up one day and just says, "Hey, it's beautiful out." Man, a 4-day week, work week, it's Thursday, although it feels like a Wednesday. I think today I'm going to sell my house. No. There's a divorce happening, or there's a birth happening, or they're downsizing, or there's some sort of life event. And guess what? These life events have patterns. So, for instance, for someone that is looking to downsize, are they not most likely empty nesters that have a certain amount of equity, that their property is probably a little bit too large for them? So maybe there's a square footage um, level that we're getting that we're at. Maybe their yard is a certain size, but there's patterns. So wouldn't it make sense to be able to find these patterns and then predict who is most likely to sell their house? It would make sense. So we did it, and we have it. And with the 2 years that we have been testing this, we have about a 72% accuracy rate right now. It's amazing. It's how you actually use AI in your workflow to make it work for you. I was flying from Houston to Florida, and the guy sitting next to me is a roofer, and him and I started talking about AI and doing this. And guess what I did? Right there on the plane, I actually went and did research for him, and I pulled out a list of people and found a list of people that businesses that he could call on that fit the criteria of individuals of his prospects. And we did this on the plane. Luckily for me, he was coming from the Dominican Republic and he gave me 2 Cuban cigars for helping him out. But I mean, guys, this is how AI should be used in workflows. In real estate, it can be used for prospecting, it can be used for opening escrow, it can be used for marketing, it can be used in every aspect. Now it's about now making a workflow, a cycle that works for you to implement these things. We use AI in our marketing all the time. Most likely, what's going to happen is my girls are going to take this recording, they're going to shove it in AI. AI is going to take this recording, cut it, splice it, edit it, and we're going to have about 15 1-minute clips of good ones that they can use for socials. Doesn't that just make sense? And so I'm telling you guys this because a couple reasons. One is I want y'all to be talking to our account executives about, hey, how do I implement this in my business? How do I get this AI prospecting list? What do you guys do for marketing? Help me out. Okay? Our AEs want to help you out. It's at no cost. But here's what I'm asking you in return is that currently, right now, we are on pace to get licensed in Texas. We are not quite licensed yet, but we are in probably the next 30 days. Okay. But what we are in right now is growth mode. And as other title companies are shrinking because of our processes and because of what we offer, we are growing. And so we want to grow in Texas because I am a true believer that as traditional as Texas is, okay, that you are ready for innovation. Let the past be the past and let's move forward. Because I'm telling you guys something. I was in Houston a couple weeks ago for the real estate convention, realtors convention. And I'm hearing these attorneys talking about, oh, the changes that they have made in the last year. And I've never in my life have been overcome so much by fear than I was in that meeting. Because what they were talking about has been done 10 years ago in other states. And so what's happening right now is that Texas needs to be innovative. And it starts with how things are transacted. It starts with us. It starts with you. It starts with this movement of using AI and facilitating a faster transaction, a safer transaction. Things don't have to be done the same way just because that's how things are done. So, my team has no problem helping you guys out, prospecting, helping you guys out with marketing. But this is what we want. We want introductions to other title companies. Because what we are doing is we are going to these title companies and we are acquiring them and we are implementing our systems into theirs. We are asking the principals to stay on with us. This is their company. These are their staff. We do not want to disrupt. What we want to do is be able to implement our systems, implement our technology, and start allowing agents to transact real estate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and start using cryptocurrency too. This is the way. There is no state in the US that needs this more than Texas, in my opinion. And there's no state in the US that I think agents want this more than in Texas. Because every agent I spoke to a couple weeks back in Houston, their mouth was dropped and they were foaming at the mouth and they couldn't wait. There's agents that say, hey, I've got a great listing I think a crypto buyer would like. It is time. All right. And I say this because, and I honestly mean this, I say this because of agents that we've spoken to just cannot wait for us to get inside of Texas because they want to use AI. They want to be able to accept crypto. They want to be able to do all these things for their clients and for their listings and not just have a traditional title experience. That's what I mean. They see that blockchain is going to be the future of real estate, and since we are the ones that record deeds on chain, we can start having these done in Texas, and that will lead us to other conversations uh, in Texas. So, all right. Um, so if you guys know of anyone, Elias, so you out there? If you guys know of any title companies there, Elias, you with me?
And which email would you like me to have them send over some contact info to? Because I do see a couple of folks in the chat. So let's give them the best email to shoot us their best times, dates, phone numbers, and that kind of info so we can reach out and book some times with them.
Yep, perfect. And again, if you want information about more information about us, let's do it. If you guys do know principals of title companies, and I mean principals, I mean the owners or the presidents or the CEOs, like the decision makers of these title companies. It doesn't matter at this point. Well, it doesn't matter how big they are because they have to have a specific, be doing enough business. But don't worry about that. We just want the introduction. And really, what that is, what we're asking for is possibly at some point an email. Hey, these guys are doing some fantastic things. I thought maybe you guys could have a conversation, and that's it. Okay, that's really what we're looking for. All right. So, as I said, we are in Florida, we're in California, Arizona, we are in Colorado, and we are now in California. Texas is our next state that we want to get into. We have thousands of platform users in Texas already. Now it's time for us to implement our title and escrow processes. So, if you guys know anyone, please, 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 here's my email address. It's in the chat. It's also here, and we can get things going. Does anyone have any questions at all? And what I'll do is I'll stop sharing, and then we can maybe have a little conversation. All right. Any questions about our processes? Any questions about crypto, blockchain? How we actually facilitate a real world asset sale of a property, anything like that. Or Elias, was there any questions that were throughout the presentation that we need to answer?
I mean, there's a couple. I think one of the ones that really stuck out to me is I know that we're talking about the importance of Texas. Did you kind of want to maybe dive into why we think it's so important to get into Texas and why Texas really is the next big opportunity for what we're doing with not just cryptocurrency, but also the technology with blockchain and AI?
Yes. So the reason that we feel Texas is ready is because what we do is we facilitate and we watch and monitor how many active and new platform users we have. And Texas is one of the states that we have seen an increase in using our platform, our offer management tool, using our MLS systems. Um, and also, the state that actually inquires mostly about cryptocurrency transactions. After speaking with many brokers, many agents in Texas, after going to the Houston Realtors Convention for 4 days, speaking to agents, speaking to brokers, hearing speakers, talking to attorneys about legislation and all of these, is that you realize that how how traditional I will say Texas is in the sense of how they transact real estate. And it's none of your guys' fault. It's just how things are done and how it is. Um, but there's items that and the ways that Texas does real estate that other states have not been doing that for a very long time. There's rules in place, there's regulations in place. And so we feel that if we are going able to go in there and try to break down those doors and innovate Texas, there's a big threshold between where Texas is currently done right now, how Texas real estate is currently performed, compared to how, say, Florida, California, Arizona are performing. We feel that there's a big need for innovation, and we want to be the ones to push it to help out. Does that make sense?
Okay, terrific. I'm just kind of scrolling through right now. There's another ones. You see.
John asks, how is crypto being used in blockchain taking the place of county level recordings? All right. So, John, great question. So, the way that blockchain works is that it's a decentralized system, meaning that if you think about a Google Sheet, all right, and say that you share that Google Sheet with Elias and myself and everyone that's inside of this webinar. And if we're all looking at that Google Sheet, every time, John, you make a change, all of us get to see that change in real time. Okay? Blockchain works very similarly. However, instead of us users that have access to that Google, we would be networks to have access to all that same information. And since all the same information is scattered across all these different networks, it can't be changed because you would have to change it on every single side and every single network that had access to it that's running this network that's called blockchain. It would all have to be changed at the same exact time across the entire network of thousands of computers, and it just can't be done. So because of that, once a deed is recorded on chain, it's there. It can't be removed. It can't be deleted. So whoever the owner is of that property and whoever is recorded on that deed is the true owner of that property. Okay? So there wouldn't be a need for, say, to go back 5, 10, 50 years. You just look up who the last person recorded on that deed was and it's there. Now, why is that relevant? It's relevant because currently right now, who records deeds? the title company to the county. And where does the county keep those deeds? On the county recording system. That's it. One place, which is can be hacked, which can be altered, which and we see that at least in Florida all the time in the sense of every week I feel like there's just some poor old lady that's getting their house sold from underneath her because someone was able to go in, change the names on the deeds, and then act as if they were the true owner of the house. Okay? It's a thing. It really happens more often than you think. Actually, just last month there was a an instance of that happening even in Colorado. I mean, it's happening across the entire planet. Now, how crypto can play a place in it is because now what we can do is facilitate transactions a heck of a lot quicker. If we are using crypto, things are more automated. If we're using crypto, things are instant, right? Wallet to wallet, done. There's no intermediaries of these banks. There's no intermediaries slowing things down. There's no wiring, which is very prevalent to fraud. And so it's a very quick, secure transaction. And for the non-crypto people out there that don't know much about it, it's okay. If you are still skeptical about crypto, let me tell you this. Less than 1%, okay? 0.001% of all crypto transactions globally have to do with some sort of criminal activity. Okay? I think there's almost 5% of all US dollars that have been printed are in some sort of criminal activity. 5%, guys. That's huge. Why is that? It's because you can't track the US dollar. You can track accounts, but once I withdraw it, there's no way that you could tell me how, if I have a $100 bill, tomorrow you would not be able to tell me how I spent that. But crypto is not anonymous. Every single transaction that has ever occurred with crypto has been recorded on chain. So you can actually track and trace every single payment, every single swap, every single trade, everything. And so it makes it a very transparent and safe place for real estate. Okay.
All right, terrific. And I did recommend for those that are wanting to email for some additional information if they know title principles or looking to introduce us to some people it would make sense to talk to shoot us emails directly either at eric@propy.com or elias@propy.com, and we will reach out and facilitate those meetings.
Cool. I think that's it, huh? Right on. Well, thanks everyone for showing. I appreciate you all. Thanks for the great questions. I hope I was able to answer them in a way that makes sense to you. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me. I don't mind. I hope you all were able to scan that QR code if you wanted to book a meeting with our AEs. But please help us grow into Texas. Help us get AI in there. Help us get crypto transactions going for you. And the quicker that we are in Texas, the quicker that that we can start transacting. So there is a reward for anyone that leads us to a title company that actually we acquire. All right, want to throw that out there. There is a reward, and it's a nice one. Okay, it's probably the most that you'll ever receive for just an email. I promise you that. So please keep that in mind. And we hope to talk to you soon, and we'll see you soon in Texas, y'all. Thank you so much. Bye now.